going to walk you through how to take the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star that you already wrote out last week and turn it into a variation. A variation, by the way, is almost like you could consider it like a jazzed up or altered version of the original melody, but it still sounds enough like the original melody that people think it's familiar. They still think of the original song, just you've made a few alterations to make it a slightly different version of that original song. So what I'm going to do first here is rename this, and I'm going to call it Twinkle Variation. There we go. And I can take out the notated because now I didn't just write it out, I'm actually going to do something of my own. So I can put, actually I should probably take the by out as well, because we don't usually bother to put that in on a piece of music. We just put the composer's name over here. So I'm going to introduce you now to the easiest ways to do variations, and that's just to make a few rhythmic changes. This ta that we see right here is 1 beat long. I know that a tt is also 1 beat long, so I can just trade out one rhythm for the other. I selected this note, I go up to the duration menu that you see right here, and I click on an 8th note. I do want the other T in the TT, so I'm going to move my cursor over here. And there we go. I just changed that ta into a TT. I'm going to do that in a few other places. Let's make this one into a TT. Move my cursor over. Put in a duplicate of the same note there. Let's put one here. You're going to follow the same sort of idea in that changes that you make in some places, you'll spread them around so that they're throughout the song. You're not going to put them in the exact same places that I'm putting mine because you're going to create your own variation. But it doesn't matter to me where you put your TTs, just that you're changing some of the rhythms and you're making the choice where to put them. So all I've been doing is trading out tas for TTs. There we go. Now I'm going to click up above the first bar to get my play sign, and that guarantees I'll actually start from the first bar and I'll listen to it. There we go. It sounds a lot like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, but you can tell that it's been played around with a little bit. We've created a very simple variation. If this is kind of starting to blow your mind, then you can just go with this and only do some TTs instead of tas, but I am going to walk you through a few other changes that can be made. So we knew that a TT was the same length as a ta. They're both 1 beat. Right here, I have the same note played for 1 beat and then another beat. That means a total of 2 beats on this note. I could make a note that's worth 2 beats on that same note. I just need to go up here and change that to a half note. I can make a few other changes like that. Here I've got the same one for 2 beats. I could do that there. I'm being careful not to change the pitch yet, to not make it so that we're on a different pitch at a different time. Keeping the pitch the same and just changing the length of it helps the listener recognize the melody as being Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star with a few changes. Now we'll hear how those changes made this music sound. Okay, you get the idea. For those who are ready to go even a bit further with the rhythmic changes, this ta and ta, total of 2 beats. You could also put a dotted rhythm in there. That's especially for my grade 8 students who've been learning about dotted rhythms. A dot adds on half of the original value. Originally this is worth 1. If I put a dot on it here, it'll be worth 1.5 beats. Which means that over here, I'm going to click, put in a note, there's my other half beat. So together that adds up to 2. That's another rhythmic change that we can make. If you're ready to brave melodic changes, with that, I would encourage simple little changes. Like right here, I've got the same note right in a row, but I could take the middle one and just slide it 1 space next door, and then it comes right back. Or I could do the same thing here, one move. This time I'm just going to go up. We call those neighboring notes. You're going to the next door neighbor and then you're coming right back. I could do a couple other ones like that. Because I put in titis, I've got a lot of good places to put those. I could just drop this one down, that sort of thing. Those are what neighboring notes are. An anticipation note is where you get to the note earlier than when you normally would. So right here I've got a whole lot of C's. I could get to that B a little bit early with this one by just dragging it down to that pitch before we get there. Those melodic changes are not necessary. I wanted to introduce them for the students who are ready to go a little bit further. I'm going to play this one and then I'll play another one so you get a bunch of ideas of the types of changes that you can make. Remember, you can keep it simple with just doing a few rhythm changes. Here's what this sounds like overall now that we've made several different changes. So you might find, like, I didn't really like that anticipation note. I might change it back. Keep using your ears to make sure you're making choices that you want, because this is about you creating your own variation just by making a few rhythm changes, and if you're ready for it, a few melodic changes. When you've listened to your piece and the changes that you've made and you've decided that you like them, you need to first save your work up here. Then you want to go over to this export button. It's in the score menu. So if you can't see this button, then chances are over here in the 3 lines, you don't happen to have score checked off. If it's not checked off, then it won't appear up here. But you can also just go to this one here and then find it that way too. Once I export as a PDF, I'll hit continue and it's going to download it for me. It's because I'm working on a regular desktop computer instead of a Chromebook, it's going to go into my downloads. It may even do that for a Chromebook. Then when you go over to your assignment, and I've got a sample view of one here, I can go to add or create, and then I can select that file. Most cases, it's going to have gone to a downloads folder, so you want to click on file here, and then go to that downloads folder, select it, and upload it. Then once it's uploaded, the mark as done will probably change to say turn in, but either way there will be a blue button here for you to click to send your work to me so I can see it. While I'm in here, I also wanted to mention that I've been sending comments through Google Classroom to you guys about your feedback. I may have noticed that maybe you had an extra bar in your Twinkle Twinkle, the original one, and I gave you some comments on how to get rid of that. Wherever it is, wherever you've handed your work into me before, please go back there and look to see what comment I might have sent you. Even if it's just to get that encouraging, yeah, you did a great job, it's nice to see that. So please do look for that feedback. When your assignment is done and you've uploaded it, you've added it here, you click the turn in, because I think this will change to mark as done into turn in. There'll be another pop-up where you hit turn in again, and then I'll be able to see that your work is ready for marking.